Here we go again. Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? Look. You know what? Bobby Kotick looked bad in this. Because I got a question for him. Why would you give Sony preferential treatments if you know your games are this good? To where they're popping up as freebie on PlayStation Plus. Me being a gamer, I hated the fact that a third-party company would pick sides about where they put their games. I've always said a third-party studio should be independent, and when they release games, they release it on all platforms, so they don't miss out on revenue. Listen to this. Microsoft tried and failed to persuade Activision to put games on Game Pass. Says new report shows that Microsoft has tried and ultimately failed to convince Activision management to put its games on Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. But this is coming from an economist. You know, one of those economists that the FTC had that couldn't even explain couldn't explain Activision. Listen to this though. Says here, Microsoft has tried and failed to persuade Activision to bring its billion-dollar franchise over to Game Pass. Says here, yesterday we learned that Activision doesn't have a zero-tolerance policy on video game subscription. Activision CEO Bobby Kotick testified under oath that publisher could be convinced to bring its games to service like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus extra/premium, provide a high enough commercial incentive were offered. Then it says practically no one buying Nvidia RTX 4000 or AMD RDNA 3 GPUs going to GPUs. Anyway, it says here in this testimony, Kotick essentially said that companies like Microsoft and Sony would have to pay an exuberant fee in order to secure Activision games on these services, especially given the often cited cannibalistic effects of Game Pass. Then it says users can choose to subscribe for a $10 a month instead of buying a game for $70, potentially leaving a lot of money on the table. And it says in all black, I don't think there's a company that could ever offer us or be willing to make the type of commercial commitment to provide that kind of structural value. Kotick told FTC lawyer Jennifer Fleury in a recent testimony. Says here, a new report from Economist witness Dr. Carlton filed shortly before Kotick testimony indicate that Microsoft has indeed tried and failed to convince Activision to bring its game to Game Pass. This was proven later accurate in Kotick witness testimony. Then it says in 2020 Activision considered putting games on Game Pass, right, with a question mark. Then it says yes, we considered it. We made a decision not to include our games on Game Pass as a subscription service. Apart from an insufficient monetary incentive, which could include an upfront fee, guaranteed royalty payouts, and even bonus based on engagement on the subscription service, there's a possibility that Microsoft would have required some level of subscription exclusivity. Remember that Activision has a strong marketing and promotional publishing licensing agreement, PLA, with Sony. This deal allows Sony to receive early and exclusive access to Call of Duty content for its PlayStation platform. It also means that Call of Duty games can show up as PlayStation Plus Essential freebie for an entire month. Yeah, and that's revenue missed out on. Says here, we've seen a number of COD titles pop up on PS Plus, including Black Ops 3, and it's also been confirmed that Black Ops Cold War will be a PS Plus freebie next month. Recent reports also show that Sony will sometime require subscription exclusivity for titles offered on PlayStation Plus. On top of the lower payouts and upfront fees, These exclusivity deals are bad news for a company like Activision, who makes billions of dollars a year by making Call of Duty available to as many platforms as possible. And that is that. So my question again to Kotick is this: why are you giving Sony preferential treatment to where your games are appearing on PlayStation Plus as freebies when they cost $70 or $60 a copy? It's like you're giving. It's like he's giving Sony a pass, you know, but then going hard at Game Pass. That doesn't look good. Now you understand why the employees was probably mad with all the issues Activision was facing. You're giving Sony preferential treatment to where your games are showing up as freebie on PlayStation Plus for an entire month. So let's say the new Call of Duty that costs about $70 appear on PlayStation Plus as a freebie. So $70 times the Call of Duty user base on PlayStation. And let's say that user base, that Call of Duty user base on PlayStation, download the game before the month is over. How much money is that Activision Blizzard is missing out on? Millions, or should I say billions. And you didn't want to put your game, your subscription, you didn't want to put your games on Game Pass. That looks bad. Now people should understand why Bungie. Now people should understand why Bungie, when Sony bought Bungie, Bungie told Sony like they don't want to be I think they don't want to be controlled, or they don't want Sony to have full control over them, something of that sort. This looks good on this looks bad on Kotick. You let Black Ops 3, if Activision is this valuable, a valuable company that Microsoft is willing to spend $68 billion, why would you give Sony preferential treatment that your games are showing up on PlayStation Plus for an entire month for free? And if you multiply that $60 or $70 by the Call of Duty user base on PlayStation, that is a lot of money you missed out on. And this is why me personally, being a gamer, I never liked the fact that you know, studios were taking sides between console makers. I've always said that if a game studio is making a game, they should put it on every platform, so it benefits them and they don't miss out on revenue. Yeah, this looks bad on Kotick right now, you know, because basically Sony was just ripping you off. If you really look at this article, Sony was just ripping Activision off, and Kotick did nothing. Didn't even stop Sony in its tracks. Like wait a minute. How many? Wait a minute. We need some money. We need some money for this. If this many millions of people downloaded the game, we need this amount of profit from you. Just saying. Sony was ripping Activision off for an entire month. I mean, think of it. The Call of Duty user base on PlayStation. If one Call of Duty game appears on PlayStation Plus for free, multiply that by the number of downloads, and you'll know how much money Activision missed out on. Yeah, preferential treatment, but there's a price to be paid when you do that, you know. Yeah. Microsoft Game Pass. Well, Microsoft built Game Pass to stay competitive in the market. They knew that okay, based on what the PS1 did for Sony, user base wide, And since Sony got a head start, and then you come into the console business with your own games and your own console, your own games. Okay, you know that Sony has a head start, so you're like, okay, what we can do is we really can't worry about their user base. We can stay up to speed and stay competitive. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah, Kotick looked bad in this. Yeah. Sony was ripping you off. You know? And then you got the nerve to come back up here and say, let me see here. What was that? When you say, I don't think there's a company that could offer us or be willing to make the type of commercial commitment to provide that kind of structural value. Sony was ripping you off and you fell for it. Ain't no way. If Call of Duty made me 31 billion, ain't no way I'm giving away that game for free. Nah. It's kind of like it reminds me of when George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney. I was like, ain't no way I worked that hard and sweat, and I got Star Wars to where it needs to be. I'm gonna turn around and sell Star Wars for pennies. Ain't no way. So yeah, Kotick was being ripped off by PlayStation based on this article. I mean, think of it. Your Call of Duty made you 31 billion. And Call of Duty is sitting on PlayStation Plus for free for an entire month. That's 24 hours in a day. And you take that PlayStation user base that plays Call of Duty and multiply, you take this, what, 60, 70 bucks, and multiply that by the amount of downloads. That is a lot of money Activision missed out on. Yeah. They were getting robbed for a month. Basically. So yeah. The Kotick looked bad, man. Look bad in this. You're talking about in his testimony, Kotick essentially said that companies like Microsoft and Sony would have to pay an exuberant fee in order to secure Activision games on these services, especially given the often cited cannibalistic effects of Game Pass. Users can choose to subscribe for $10 a month instead of buying a game for $70, potentially leaving a lot of money on the table. Yeah, Kotick, you look bad on this one. Not good. Yeah. Now I see why he wanted a 80-20 split from Microsoft, because he's trying to make up. Basically, he's trying to make up for the money that he lost with PlayStation for an entire month. That's all that comes down to. You're sitting here giving away your best-selling game that give you 31 billion, right? You're giving it away for a free, giving it away as a freebie for an entire month. So that's money you're missing on. So basically now you're charging Microsoft a 80-20 or 70-30, 80-20, 70-30 split to make up for the money that was lost. Yeah, business 101. Anyway, but Kotick looked bad on this one, man. Sony was robbing you blind for an entire month. Robbing you. And you let that go on? So think of all the Call of Duties that appeared on PlayStation Plus for free. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm giving that game away for free. And I made 31 billion? Nah. You gotta pay for that. So yeah. Not looking good. Then it says here, it says recent reports show that Sony will sometime require subscription exclusivity for titles offered on PlayStation Plus. On top of the lower payouts / upfront fees, these exclusivity deals are bad for companies like Activision, who makes billions of dollars a year by making Call of Duty available to as many platforms as possible. Nah, Sony was robbing you. That's what they're doing. Sony just got exposed. Sony just got exposed in this. They were robbing Activision for an entire month. Yeah. Well, this Activision court case has been revealing a lot. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek fan. More Dark Side. Peace.